This is an obviously sad ending to this search for Molly Tibbetts. As you mentioned, investigators say they have charged an undocumented immigrant with first-degree murder, and they say he offered some pretty chilling details about what happened the night Molly disappeared.
Speaking of fight the battles in this country, what's your take on the Molly Tibbetts thing?
The Molly Tibbetts thing. Did we confirm that the guy is actually an illegal immigrant?
It has not been the story hasn't changed.
Yeah,
So-
well, no, there was. I saw they were saying that it's not been proven that he was, here illegally. That he may have actually had a legal, valid reason,
like a
for
work
being here.
visa or something like that.
Yeah, that was what I heard. That was like a week ago. I don't know. Honestly, people killing people always bothers me anyway.
Right. Well, of course.
Immigration status, I feel like the immigration status of her murderer is really not the central issue here. It shouldn't be anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, the question should he have been even in the country or whatever? I can understand that logic. But people are going to get in. They overstay visas. People come here and stay, and that is illegal entry. Or they do sneak across the border, which is what I think most people have in their mind as a stereotype. But I don't think that's even half of the people that come in.
No. I think most of them overstay their visas in one way or another. Whether it's a tourist visa or a work visa or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but the idea is, that the idea that's behind that rhetoric is that this person snuck across the border. We need to build the wall, and these people won't be dead. It's like, yeah, well, this particular person won't be dead, and I get that, but I feel like we really just need to do these as separate issues. She was killed, and that was heinous, and that person needs to be punished.
Right.
And then immigration, whether it would have saved Molly Tibbetts or Steinle or anybody else, that needs to be stopped anyway.
Right.
Those people aside, not saying that they don't count, they definitely do, and I feel for them and their families, but. Illegal immigration is something that I think we just need to just enforce it. There's like an idea of like they do with the guns, right? Oh, we need to get rid of all the guns, and this person wouldn't have died because they were shot with a gun, right? And there's that same kind of idea, that same kind of feel to this idea. We need to get rid of the illegal aliens. If there were no illegal aliens, this person would still be alive. It's a false equivalency because on the one hand, right, guns, you're trying to take away someone's right. We already have the rights. You're trying to pass more laws, more legislation to take away more liberty for the average person who doesn't do these things, these acts, right? With the idea of eliminating this particular case. Whereas the other side is we don't want to take anyone else's right away. We don't even want more legislation. All we want is enforcement of what's on the books now.
Right.
That's what makes the illegal alien illegal, is the fact that they are here residing in the United States against the law. That's it. And that's it.
Right, but the law...
If there wasn't already a law in place, they wouldn't be illegal aliens.
Right, but they can change... The law can change, though, right? I mean...
Well, yeah, the law can change. That's my point. I don't have a problem with the law as it is. I don't need to change it. I certainly don't need to make it more stringent. And it's not like I don't have a heart for the people who do come here illegally. I mean, I get why they would want to do that in most cases, and that's fine. I'm not against them, but the law is the law. I don't hate people who speed. I don't. But the law is the law, So when somebody gets pulled over for speeding, I don't want to jump out and protest and all of that, And when I get pulled over for speeding, yeah, I say, hey, that cop's such an ass and blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, I did the speeding and I got the ticket, and I'll do I'll
Time.
Well, sadly, there is no time other than sitting there waiting for him. Like, what are you writing a hand copy of Moby Dick? What the heck, man?
They do that on purpose to piss you off even more, man.
Hell yeah, they do.
The last time I got pulled over for speeding, the cop was really fast.
Yeah.
So he came back. He was fast, like 2 minutes. I was like, wow. I even told him, I said, well, at least you're fast.
Wasn't speeding if I didn't have places to be.
Exactly. You know what I hate? I agree with what you're saying about it should be separate. But what I hate is when people they want to minimize that that part of the story, because it is part of the story.
Oh, sure.
The fact that the guy was here illegally, it's not like, that should just, it's not irrelevant to the discussion.
So I would say that it's not even. I wouldn't even say it necessarily is relevant, unless, and there have been several of these kinds of cases as well. Now, if somebody has been here and then been deported, and then they come back here again, now it's a felony because they're not, once you've been removed once, that's a misdemeanor and nothing. But you come back again, that's a felony, and they get deported again. Now, if that has happened a few times, and then they kill somebody, or if they came into the system, into the court system in a sanctuary city, and they didn't, they weren't called, the feds weren't called in, and then that person kills somebody, then it's central. That's central to the conversation, right? Because we should have done the right thing at that time, and so it's no longer just that person's fault. Although primarily, anytime there's a murder, it's the murderer's fault, right? I stand by that. But then there becomes a societal aspect of, why didn't we as a society do the right thing when we had the chance to do the right thing?
Right.
And that's when we need to address those kinds of concerns. That's not taking any culpability away from the criminal, but it definitely, we need to address those kinds of situations.
But why would it be different? Somebody comes here illegally. Let's say they came over the border. They didn't overstay their visa, right? They come over, they get deported, and they come back. Why is the morality of it heightened because they came back after they were already deported?
Why is the morality heightened?
Yeah, you're saying that now society has some kind of culpability in it if they come back and then they commit a crime, as opposed to they just came here beforehand, before they got deported.
My point is, once they've been in the system, and if the system lets them go free in the United States, that's my point. It's not if they snuck in and we didn't know they were there and they killed somebody, then that's immaterial. I mean, it's ancillary, I guess, to the but because we're not addressing a problem that we actually have or that we can actually solve. Right. Short of, I guess, a border wall, which they're going to climb it. It's
right.
Right. There's already a wall there.
Right.
So, but like I said, it's about the overstaying visas. I mean, do we investigate anything like that? Is there, when they come through the system in another way, do we address that? Like, okay, well, what happens when they are filing for services or whatever for their there's a lot of issues about that.
But you were saying that if they left and then they came back, now it's like a felony, and now it's a bigger deal if they commit a crime.
Right.
If they got deported and they came back, now it's a bigger deal if they commit a crime. Well, why would it be? I mean, societally, we did the right thing. We got rid of them. They got deported.
I thought when they're in the system, if the system lets them go inside this side of the border,
okay.
If they come here and they are deported and we find them again and they're deported, that's the system that we're looking for, and that's everything working like it's supposed to, felony or not or otherwise, right?
Got it. Okay. So only if they were released in the United States, then it becomes an issue.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
You know, so if there's incarceration involved in it or whatever, and as long as the system's working like it's supposed to, I don't have a problem with it. And then I don't think it even needs to really be brought up. I mean, I understand why they do it politically, but I don't really think it's as pertinent an issue in the murder. The murder is the pertinent issue. That's the issue.
Clearly, the murder is the pertinent issue. That's
not if you look on Twitter. I mean, that's the murder is almost just like it's just the tragedy du jour. To push that anti-illegal immigration narrative. I'm not for illegal immigrants or illegal immigration, but I mean, the gal's dead. That's fixing our immigration system would be nice.
Yeah.
Enforcement would be nice.
Yeah,
but
I think
would enforcement have saved her life? That's my question. Is there proof of that?
There's no way to know that.
Well, no, there is no way. Okay, like if he was handcuffed to an ICE agent and due to a protest, he unlocks the guy and he turns around and shoots somebody. Right? I mean, okay, that's the kind of stuff that I'm essentially trying to address. I mean, if it wasn't him being in the system and the system failing, and that therefore led to the murder, then mentioning that is really just a characteristic.
I think that more people, and I get what you're saying, and in this case you're probably right, but I think what most people are bothered by is when they come over here and they become part of the welfare state, and then they create gangs, MS-13, and then those gangs then commit all kinds of violent crime, including murders. So, I think people are more worried about that.
Okay, well, okay. When we're addressing something like MS-13, they want to tie it to the immigration issue.
Yeah.
But again, there needs to be better enforcement of gangs in general.
Yeah.
Right.
There's all kinds of issues there. There's all kinds of racial issues and
sure. But if you're looking at you want to lower crime, say they love to throw out Chicago. Oh, Chicago! Look at all these deaths in Chicago. They're all drug and gang related. I mean, not all of them, but essentially that's the lion's share.
Yeah.
Is drug and gang related. So if you're doing the proper enforcement of these things, then you should be able to curb that crime. I don't know that rounding up all of MS-13 and trying to deport them is necessarily the way to go, because then they go to El Salvador, they turn around, they jump on a train, and they come back up again, right? Yeah. So you got to find some way to stem that tide other than immigration. I don't think that's the magic bullet.
Yeah, it's difficult, man. I mean, I remember a few years ago, LAPD, I believe, or maybe it's county, decided to try to do something about the gangs, and they got a lot of crap for it. I don't know, like racial profiling and all kinds of crazy stuff. So, and so what do you do? I don't know. Anyway,
I think you should do whatever profiling is necessary.
Yeah.
If there's a gang of middle-aged fat white guys that's out there just running amok, destroying
there's a lot of those.
civilization as we know it. I'm just saying, if that's the case, right?
I guess
it's toppling society, and then the cop starts tapping on my window whenever I'm sitting in a suspicious place. I'm like, it ain't me. It's like, check me out. It's cool, right? I understand why they're doing it, and I'm cool with it because I don't want crime, regardless of who's committing it. I don't want crime around me.
That's how I feel too. I don't understand the the other part of it, but I understand why other racial groups feel differently. But then again, I'm not part of that racial group.